Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Srutismriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram. Namasri Shankarananda Guru Padambujanmane Savila Samaha Moha Grahak Grasaika Karmane. Hari Om. So, friends, we were discussing deeper aspects of Kutastha Deepa Prakarana, chapter 8 of Pañcadaśi. So we saw first what is Chidabhasa, extra patch on the wall. The light is, general light is thrown, reflected light is Chidabhasa. There are so many mirrors are there, suppose many reflections are formed, and the gap in between is Samanya Chaitanya. And wherever the thought is generated, in the thought, the Kutastha reflects and it is a special glow. It's called Visishta. Visishtata, it gains some kind of speciality. So, what is the role of Chidabhasa here? Chidabhasa, before the pot is known, it was unknown. We saw that unknownness was illumined by Chit. Because Chidabhasa is not formed yet. Chidabhasa can be there only when thought rises in the mind. Thought is a wave. Suppose the mind is like this, a thought rises. When a thought protrudes, the moment the Kutas Chaitanya reflects in that thought. So, before the rise of Vritti, thought, what was my feeling? I don't know that there is a pot. And after the rise, Uparishtattu, after the rise of the thought, Chidabhasa is formed. After that, then I get the knowledge that there is experience, there is a pot over there. So, this Uparishtattu. So, what is the role of Chidabhasa? Chidabhasa goes and reveals the pot. Then who is knowing the pot? The knownness is revealed and the knower is Chit. The knower means the ultimately Chit illumines, Sakshi illumines. So, before the formation of the thought, the pot was known as what? Pot was not, absence. When the pot was thought created, Chidabhasa went and revealed. It is known, it became present. When thought of the pot thought illumined by Chidabhasa, then the pot becomes known, it becomes presence. So Kutastitanya illumines the both. The before the condition, vritti, and also after the thought is created, Chidabhasa reveals the pot, that also is revealed. The knower also is revealed by Chit. So therefore we saw Chit is knows what I know, that I know the pot. So knower of the knower of the knower. The knower is Chidabhasa, first knower. But Chidabhasa knower is changing because with respect to pot, the pot knower is different from the book knower, different from, because book Chidabhasa is formed there. Book thought, reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa is formed. That Chidabhasa reveals only that particular object. That particular object alone is revealed by Chidabhasa. So next thought, next vritti created, again Pratibimba Chaitanyam, reflected consciousness, and that consciousness reveals the object for which the thought is risen, to know which the thought is risen. So we saw in the fifth sloka yesterday, we were discussing the fifth only. Before the pot became known. So what was the adjective there? What was there? Unknownness was there. Unknownness of the pot. That was also revealed by Sakshi. So I know that I don't know at that time. Then I know that I know. So known and unknown, both are illumined by Sakshi. This is what we saw yesterday. So pot ignorance is revealed by Chit. The ignorance of pot. Who knows it? That time Chidabhasa was not born. The thought is not there. When thought is not born, Chidabhasa is not formed, then how can the pot be known? Because any knowledge takes place only through vritti. Only when the thought is created, through thought alone, I can know the object. Any knowledge you take through thought only, even Brahmajnanam also. Upanishads and all we study, Vedanta we study, only thought only. Thought is created first. And post-ignorance also is revealed by Chit alone. Chidabhasa reveals the pot. Reveals. But Chit illumines it, the knowledge. So therefore, Chidabhasa does not reveal pot avidya, pot ignorance. When ignorance was there, I don't know the pot, that was not illumined by Chidabhasa. Who knows it? Chit. And Chidabhasa does not reveal pot knowledge also. The knowledge is gained by Chit, consciousness, Kutasa Chaitanya. Ultimate knowledge is happening where? To me, the real self inside. Then what is the role of Chidabhasa? It unveils the pot. The covering is removed by Chidabhasa. Knowledge is gained by Chit. Up to here we saw yesterday. Okay, we will continue further. Now he says in the 6th verse. Chidabhasantadhi vrittihi jnanam lohanta kuntavat Jajyamajnanametabhyam vyaptah kumbhodvidhochyate. This slokas also tough slokas. So chidabhasa chidabhasanta dhivrittihi. So there is a pot thought. You take pot thought of a pot. So this should be thought rises first. We saw sequentially, it happens so quickly. We don't know how much it is actually, how fast it is a process. So the thought of the object, first thought rises. In the thought, Chidabhasa reflects. Sorry, Kutastha reflects. Then Chidabhasa is formed. So in that Chidabhasa, in the light of Chidabhasa, the thought bathes. So that bathing in the thought bathing in the Chidabhasa is called as knowledge. Chidabhasanta dhivrittihi jnanam. So Chidabhasa envelops the thought. No, so Chidabhasa ke andar a vritti aa gayi. Chidabhasa is envelops the entire thought. See, for example, just only to one aspect only, I am giving one example to tell you. Say 1 mm depth, 1 mm or 0.5 mm. On the floor only, you just made with 1 mm depth some kind of shape of the country. 1 mm depth, shape of the country on the floor or in the mud from where you made it. Okay. 1 mm depth. Print of the country. And suppose you just leave the water from one in top or bottom, whatever it is. The moment you pour water, so a small pipe in any place, slowly you can see the water spreads and takes the shape of the country. Here also slowly I am telling you. Chidabhasa formation, like that it forms. It envelops. So water is enveloping the entire country, that what we made a stamp of the country with 1 mm depth. The water goes and flows with it. So first thought is created. When thought is created, immediately Chidabhasa forms. Chidabhasa forms and envelops the whole thought. For example, Antad. Means it is another example is given there beautifully. So it is capped by, the thought is capped by Chidabhasa. It is glowing. Like, mountains are there and the mountains are capped by snow. How is it that snow mountain? Not whole mountain is snow. So capped by. The example is given there. So that means what happens in that Chidabhasa, the entire thought is there. So Chidabhasa is capped by Chidabhasa. So thought of the object, any object you take, shining in the light of Chidabhasa. So Chidabhasa, that is called knowledge. So if Chidabhasa is not there, there cannot be any knowledge. That's the meaning. That will get further clarified. So, have that Lohanta Kuntavat example is given. Like a wooden stick, an arrow is there. Arrow. So, like, what is the arrow? Wooden stick is capped with iron. Wooden stick is there. It is capped with iron. That becomes arrow. Similarly, thought capped by Chidabhasa. That becomes knowledge. Knowledge of what? That capped Chidabhasa is illumining the thought of the pot, for example, pot thought. So the Chidabhasa has to be there to gain the knowledge. Otherwise, Chidabhasa is not formed, there cannot be any Jnanam. What is Chidabhasa? Reflection of the Kutastam only. And we saw the Kutastam, the reflection has got all the properties, it also shines, it also illumines, etc. Only thing is, Kutastha is all pervading, Chidabhasa is not all pervading. It is only confined by thought, to the thought. So, Chidabhasa dhivrittihi jnanam lohanta kuntavat. Previously, what we saw, the pot had become, previously, before it became known, it was unknown. So, what was the adjective of the pot before the rise of knowledge and creation of Chidabhasa? Unknownness is the adjective of the pot. So, later when thought rises and then Chidabhasa formed and then the thought goes and then the envelops the entire pot, then Chidabhasa they are reflected, then glows, then what will happen? It become known. So vritti arises, Chidabhasa formed, vritti of thought goes and then it takes the shape of the object, then the object becomes known. So Ghatakara vritti rises. So here he says, what is the meaning of unknownness? What do we exactly mean by unknownness? He says, Jadyam Ajnanam. First line we saw, Chidabhasanta dhivrittihi jnanam lohanta kuntavat. So the vritti is formed, Chidabhasa is reflected, when Kutastha reflected, Chidabhasa is formed. So Chidabhasa is like an iron cap put over the wooden stick. It becomes an arrow. It has got the capacity to pierce the object. That's why example is given. Arrow goes. And this Chidabhasa arrow goes. And what does it do? It removes the ignorance of the object. The object is made known. Object is revealed. Curtain has been removed. So this arrow goes, pierces and removes the entire parda. That's why arrow example is given like wooden lohanta kuntavat. So what is ignorance now here? Before that, before the formation of this vritti, it was ignorance. I don't know the pot. So it was pervaded by ajnanam. So what is that? Ajnana vyaptatvam ajnatatvam. Ajnana. What is ignorance in this context? Pot is pervaded by ignorance. What is exactly ignorance? Jadyam ajnanam. That's a beautiful thing. Jadyam, second line. Jadyam ajnanam yetabhyam vyaptah kumbho dvidha uchyate. What do you mean by Jadyam? Jadyam means what? What do you mean by ignorance actually? Ignorance of an object. Suppose ignorance of a pot. Means what? Any object which has not got the capacity to reveal itself by itself, that is called as ignorance. So its incapacity to reveal itself by itself. Vastu cannot reveal itself by itself. Unless thought is formed, Chidabhasa is formed, then the thought goes, Chidabhasa and thought take the shape of the object. Then the awareness, because the object comes under the awareness of Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa envelops the object. So when Chidabhasa envelops the object, that particular object becomes known. And that knowingness is illuminated by what? That knower is illuminated by whom? Capital knower, Chidabha, the Chit, pure consciousness. So pot is unable to say I am, no? So whoever says I am is sentient. Jada Padartha is what? Cannot say I am. Jada Padartha cannot say I am. Nor it is capable of saying you are, I am. This knowledge is not there in Jada Padartha. So when the inert thought, any thought which is inert, Jada, no, Jada Padartha. Thought is Jadam only. And the thought is not illumined by Chidabhasa, not illuminated, Chidabhasa is not formed, then that object continues to be absent for us. That object is absent for us. It is not come under in my awareness. So this is called ignorance is pervaded. The object is pervaded by ignorance. Meaning the pot is not revealed. So jadyam ajnanam. So etabhyam vyaptah kumbha vida uchyate. So this is the dvida means this is by this thing alone. A pot goes through stages. What is the known stage and unknown? First unknown stage, then becomes known stage. So this is what his Vijayamuni is telling very clearly. So what is the knowledge? Knowledge, for any knowledge to take place, thought is required. And thought is Jadavastu. So Chidabhasa reflects in it, meaning Chidabhasa is formed and then it envelops the object, then that in its awareness, Chidabhasa's awareness, then that becomes object becomes revealed, that is known and illuminated by Chit. So there are two knowers in us. One is Chidabhasa as a knower. Chidabhasa knower is what? Chidabhasa knower is the knower of that particular thought or object, thought of or the object of thought only. Suppose I'm seeing the glass here. When I see the steel glass in front of me, Chidabhasa is formed. Then I got the knowledge of the glass. That Chidabhasa is illuminating only glass. It cannot illumine any other vastu. To know other vastu, other Chidabhasa has to be formed. And it happens so fast, Chidabhasas come and go. And once the Chidabhasa come and goes, the knowledge remains with us. So this is what Vijayamuni says in this shloka. Okay, 6th verse is over. Now, 7th verse. Ajñāto brahmana bhāsyo jñāta kumbhastatha nakim jñātatvad janane naiva chidabhasa parikshayaha. Now, Ajnata Brahmana Bhasya. Now, unknownness of the pot. Ajnata. Ajnata means pot is unknown. Unknownness. I don't know the pot. Meaning, the pot is not revealed. So, there is something I don't know. The previous condition was what? I don't know the pot. So, before I got the knowledge of the pot, what was the condition of the pot? Me, I don't know the pot. So, I don't know the pot is illuminated by whom? Chit alone. Because Chit alone can illuminate directly. The Chit is illuminating it. I don't know the pot. That time. So, Ajnataha, that time, unknown pot, when the cognition of it is what? Ajnata Brahmana Bhasyaha. So the knowledge that of absence of pot, knowledge of the absence of pot is illuminated by whom? Consciousness, Kutastha Chaitanya. Ajnata Brahmana Bhasya. So unknownness of the pot is illuminated by Chit. When Chidabhasa reveals the pot, then who is knowing the pot? The knownness of the pot. That also is because the Chidabhasa is the knower, and the knower also is illuminated by, again, the Kutastha Chaitanya. Therefore, the principle of the knownness also is revealed by Chit alone. So, Ajnata Kumbha Brahmana Bhasyaha. Ajnata Vastu, any Vastu, Brahmana Bhasya. Now, Jnatah Kumbha Tathana Kim. If absence of the pot is known or illuminated by Chitta, why can't it illuminate the presence of the thought? Presence of the object? It can illumine. Kumbha Tathana Kim, Jnataha, Kumbha Tathana Kim. Why not let a pot be illuminated by Brahman? It can be. When it is able to illumine the absence, can't it illumine the presence? That's the meaning. So, unknown pot or the unknownness of the pot is revealed by Chit. Known pot, ultimately knowledge is taking place in the Kutastha. That also is revealed by Chit. Knownness of the pot is also revealed by your consciousness. Now the question is, if both are revealed by Chit alone, absence and presence are illuminated by Chit alone. Because the knownness is illuminated by whom? Chit alone. Then what is the role of Chidabhasa? Absence is known, illuminated by Chit. Presence also illuminated by Chit. Then what is the job or role of Chidabhasa here? So Chidabhasa has third function. Very important function. Unknownness and the knownness, both these adjectives are revealed by Chidabhasa. Sorry, Chit. Suppose when there is an object kept in front of me, I am illuminating the object. Object is not there. Absence is there. Absence also I am illuminating, no? So the one who is illuminating the presence is also illuminating the absence. So what is the role of Chidabhasa then? Chidabhasa reveals the pot component. The pot first to be revealed. Then only I told you extended an example. Suppose there is a object covered by thick wheel, black cloth. Very thick black cloth. So you cannot see anything in the light. Light is there, but black cloth is there. So black cloth cannot illumine the object. Black cloth cannot know the object. So when we remove the cloth, the object is revealed. When you remove the cloth, so cloth is removed. But one is cloth to be removed, then the object is known, recognized by the light. The light illumines the object and light knows it. Oh, this is the object. So Chidabhasa reveals the pot component. Chit is only confined to two functions, unknownness and knownness. Whereas Chidabhasa has the function of revealing the pot. So after Jnatatva Jananenaiva, after making the Jnatatva, the pot, unknown pot became known. How Chidabhasa went and covered, and then the unknown pot became known. Jnatatva. Jananam, producing that. Jnatatva Jananena. Who is Jnatatva? Jnata, who is Jnata? Knower. So by producing the knower, by creating the knower, Chidabhasa creates the knower with respect to that object. So Jnatatva Jananena eva Chidabhasaha Parikshayaha. After revealing the pot, then the Chidabhasa role is done. There's nothing to play, no role to play. So Chidabhasa Parikshayaha. Chidabhasa has completed its job briefly. What? By making unknown object as a known object, by revealing it, its purpose is served. He says it dissolves. And can we separate Chidabhasa and Chit physically? No. Why they are together? No. On the like patch of reflected light on the wall. So Jnatatva Jananena eva Chidabhasa Parikshaya. Chidabhasa, that once the Jnatatva, that it is produced, its object is revealed, object became known. From unknown to the Chidabhasa comes, makes the unknownness of the object into knownness. It illumines it. Its job is done. The Parikshaya, it dissolves. It may go up to the next object. That object is, Jnanam is gained, it permanently remains. Okay. So the subject is what? Very deep. So I can meditate. As what? Thoughts are rising. Each thought of object of thought. Then the Kutastha is reflecting there. Then thought is glowing. After the thought is revealed, I can know it. So what should I do? I should reduce the frequency of thoughts. Then I can increase the gap. When I increase the gap in that silence, I'm observing the silence. So who is observing? There is no Chidabhasa, there is no thought. When thought is there, Chidabhasa forms. Thought is not there, no Chidabhasa. Who is there then in that in the absence of Chidabhasa? I am there. So, this is what Vijayarana is trying to explain to us as to how to differentiate between Kutastha Chaitanya and Chidabhasa. Because both are being one, look alike only. Mirror image, mirror. One is original, दूसरा is image, reflection. This is a light, that is light. This can glow, that can glow. Wonderful approach. I mean, tremendous clarity we get. I don't know if you're contemplating or not. Meditate on these things. And we know how that when thoughts are rising, you can see the sparks rising. Okay. Now, next question. Next sloka. Hope you are following without any difficulty. Abhasahinaya buddhya jnatatvam naiva janyate tadruk buddher visheshakko mrudade syad vikarinaha. Now, there is a possible doubt. What was the system now? Let us take pot example. Pot was unknown when before the thought of the pot capped by Chidabhasa is not formed. So you say at that time, who is revealing the unknownness of the pot, absence of the pot? That time it is illuminated by Chit alone, pure consciousness alone, that state of it. Because everything, I don't know, I know. That's two stages are there. So what are the three stages mentioned here? One is the unknownness of the object. Pot was unknown. Then the vritti rises, Chidabhasa formed, it goes and envelops the pot completely, takes the shape of the pot, and then pot becomes revealed, known. And that is actually ultimately the revealed after pot. It is illumined again by Chit, and Chit is the ultimate knower. Revealed by Chit it is. So Chit reveals the knowledge. Chit gets the knowledge. But why can't we have like this? Purva Pakshi says. These three we have understood now. So, first stage is Chit is revealing the unknownness of the object. Pick it off. That's good. We don't have any objection. Chit job is done. But Chit also illumines the unknownness also and knownness also. No, knownness after the thought is known. Who is illumining? Chit alone. So Chit reveals only the unknownness of the part. Number one. Okay. Then part vritti is formed. Second one, second stage part vritti formed. It reveals the part, that is Chidabhasa, reveals the knownness of the part. Chidabhasa comes in between, it reveals. Then we say the knower, ultimate knower is who? Ultimately the knower. Chidabhasa is one knower or knownness is there brought out. Ultimate knower is Chit, the consciousness elements. So Purvapakshi says, why should you bring Chidabhasa into picture, the Chit into picture? Let the Chidabhasa itself reveal the knownness of the part. Let Chidabhasa itself be the knower. He says that's way. Don't again reveal it. Why we need not bring Chit? Let Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa also is consciousness only, no? Reflected consciousness only, no? Why should you say Chidabhasa reveals the object and then the object is known by Chit? Let the object be directly known by the Chidabhasa itself without referring and bringing it to the notice of Chit. Chit has no role to play. Unknownness aspect, Chit is there at that time when the objects are unknown. At that time, the unknown object is illumined. Unknownness is gained and illumined by Chit understood. For the sake of knowingness, illumining the knowingness, you can give that job to Chidabhasa, no? Vritti you can give, no? Vritti. Let Vritti itself know the part. So, Gata Vritti is there, part for Pratibimba Chidabhasa, reflected Chidabhasa. Let instead of Chidabhasa revealing the part, we will say Chidabhasa directly reveals the knownness of the part. We say Chidabhasa reveals, curtain removed. Knownness is illumined by whom? Chit. We say Chit Baju Rakhiya. Let Chidabhasa itself become the illumine the knownness of the object. After removing the parda, Chidabhasa is directly there. It can be the known, no? Why should you bring Chit again in between? Behind the Chit is the knower. Chit is knowingness is illumined by Chit. Why can't Chidabhasa do this? After all, Chidabhasa is reflected consciousness alone. So three stages are there, no? Unknownness, object revealed by Chidabhasa, and knownness illumined by Chit. Again I repeat, unknownness of the object, Chidabhasa reveals the object, and it is known by knownness, illumined by Chit. Now Purvapakshi says, second time Chit is coming, no, to illumine the knownness. Forget about it, we will throw the Chit, no need for Chit. Let Chidabhasa reveal the object and Chidabhasa know it. Knownness also, Chidabhasa can illumine the knownness also. Why should you bring Chit again there? So Vritti itself is enough. Is that problem? Is Vritti itself is enough. No, Vritti goes and that is enough. So Vritti reveals the part. Vritti reveals the part. Let the Vritti reveal the part directly. This is what it says. Abhasa hinaya buddhya jnatatvam naiva janyate. The answer is now. He says very clearly, my dear, this is not possible. Why it is not possible? Because what is a Vritti? Jadam. Vritti cannot go and reveal, no? Directly. Why? Vritti is Jada. Vritti is made up of mind. Mind is Panchamahabhutas. What is the part? Part is made up of Panchamahabhutas only. So vritti cannot reveal the pot because vritti is jada. That's what it says. Abhasa hinaya buddhya. Without the reflected consciousness of the vritti, vritti itself directly cannot go. Without chidabhasa, it cannot go and reveal the object. Jnatatvam naiva janyate. So tadrak buddhe vishesha ko mrudade syad vikarina. If buddhi is not required, then what will be the difference between inert things like mud and some other inert things? What is the difference? All are same only, no? Thought also is jada. Pot also is jada. How can one jada vastu, insentient vastu, come to know other insentient vastu? I have so many articles on table. Book is there, laptop is there, steel glass is there, mouse is there. All the things are kept. Do you think that a book can know the laptop come to know the glass, and glass can know the this one? No, they cannot know because they're all inert. So on inert objects cannot know each other. So vritti is inert. Vritti cannot know the object. So there must be chaitanyam in that. So one jada by pervading another jada vastu, insentient object, one insentient object pervading other insentient object. Then that first insentient object which is pervading can come to know the other insentient object which is pervaded by this insentient object. First insentient object, no. So all the things, I cannot. I have to, light is luminous. Only luminous is there, light is luminous. Then only I can know all the articles in my room. So without the reflected light, Chidabhasa, he says, the Purpaksha says that the thought itself do it, no job, no. Why bring chit and the consciousness therein? Not possible to do this because these two are jada vastus. So the importance of chit is required. So Chidabhasa is required to go and pervade, reveal the object. And the pure chit is an ultimate knower. So what is the purpose of this chapter? To differentiate between Chidabhasa and Kutastha Chaitanya. Chidabhasas come and go with every, so thought. Because whenever thought, Chidabhasa is formed in that thought. So these two are together. Jadapadartha, vritti is Jadapadartha, and capped by Chidabhasa, it becomes, the thought becomes enlivened. Then that thought goes, envelops an object, and that becomes known. So another, he says, Jnatayityuchyate kumbho mruda lipto na kutrachit dhimatra vyapta kumbhasya jnatatvam neshyate tatha. So jnataha iti uchyate kumbho mruda lipto na kutrachit. You take a pot. Vritti, no, he says vritti goes without Chidabhasa. Vritti takes the shape of the object and the object is revealed. It is like mud, so pot pervaded by thought, without bringing Chidabhasa, thought is enough, no? The thought goes and takes the shape of the object, and then that object is revealed. Teacher says, no, it is like pot is there, smear it with mud. So the mud which is smeared, can that mud come to know the pot? Mud is smeared on the pot. Can that smeared mud come to know the pot? So mud can never know the pot. Even though mud is surrounding the pot, enveloped the pot completely, mud cannot know the pot. Similarly, without Chidabhasa, Vritti cannot know the object unless it is blessed by Chidabhasa. That's what he says. So a pot which is smeared by mud, it is not considered that has a known to the mud. Pot is known to the mud. Why? Because mud is smeared around the pot. The pot is revealed. Kabhi sambhav nahi. Both are being mud alone. So therefore, dhimatra vyapta kumbhasya jnatatvam naishyate tatha. Similarly, dhimatra vyapta kumbhasya, the pot enveloped by the thought without the light of consciousness. The pot is there, enveloped by thought, without the reflected light in the thought. That pot can never be known. That pot can never be known unless it is illumined by Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa is nothing but pure Chit reflected in Vritti. So this is what. So therefore, the knownness of an object must be revealed by Chit only. First Chidabhasa goes, reveals, and then that is known to the Chit directly. Okay. I'll stop here today. You please think. Next, tomorrow we'll start from sloka number 10. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnodachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you.